Welcome to GCCars, my name is Eric.
And I'm Jesse.
And it's the battle of the subcompacts. This is the 2024 Kia Seltos, which has just received a major update, but
this is the CX-30, which was minorly refreshed for 2024.
And both of these are amazing SUVs. I have taken a look at them a couple of years ago when both of these were new. And well, we're gonna see now after a few updates and a few upgrades, who will prevail as the king of subcompact SUVs. And I think we're gonna take a look first here at the Seltos, because that's the major upgrade, right? This is much more new. And starting off the exterior, and then we're gonna compare the interiors of these two cars. I'm gonna take them out on the road, and then we're gonna form a comparison. And conclusion is the word I was looking for.
If we don't freeze to death first.
If we don't freeze to death. It's really cold. Canada. Starting off with the exterior of the new Seltos, what do we think?
What color am I looking at? Because this makes me think I'm at like the beach and the blue water's going on.
Yeah, so this is Pluton Blue.
Pluton Blue.
Whatever Pluton is.
That sounds like a planet or something. Like Pluto, I don't know.
I mean, it kind of fits for a micro car.
Yeah.
It's a microplanet name. I know I don't know what Pluton is. But yeah, this is refreshed. And both of these, by the way, in their top trim. So this is the X-Line, this is the GT, and for all of our American friends, this is called, the X-Line is not the top trim in the US. They did some weird naming things. This is top spec, equivalent to the Limited, I think, in the US. It just has some different looks. Same specs. I think this is a little bit more on the safer side, but I like some of the rugged accents we have. And I think overall it's a decent looking subcompact SUV.
There are some elements I like about it. Overall, I'm a little bit conflicted about the front end. It's not bad looking. It's not my cup of tea.
Right.
But I'm sure someone out there is going to really like it.
Yeah, what I prefer about this one, like the front end is all right. Side profile is meh. The rear end though, I really like the rear end.
The rear end's nice.
With the new taillights that kind of wrap around, it makes it look nice and like squared up a bit.
It looks more, actually for me, it looks more rugged from the back.
Yes, I love that, but
the Mazda.
Ooh, that's a good looking car. Like you cannot deny this, especially in snowflake white pearl.
That color, I absolutely love that color.
It's a beautiful color.
It looks like a different color from different angles, and then you got the black rims to kind of contrast it. Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Like it just, especially now with the lights, with the running lights, the orange lights.
It's sharp.
Looks really nice. And what I think is really cool about the CX-30, but I'm going to complain about it a little later on, is the exaggerated proportions you have here, right? So you have this huge piece of sheet metal, and your whole greenhouse looks like shrunken down.
It's compressed, yeah.
Especially compared to the Seltos. Like this looks way tighter. Looks very cool. Kind of makes it look like a concept car a little bit. But also, one thing, no roof racks on this bad boy.
Yeah, this one has roof racks, this one doesn't.
Has roof racks. But interiors are often more important than exteriors. So how about you hop in the CX-30 and I'll hop in the Seltos. Alrighty, now inside these two SUVs, and just you spend a week with the CX-30, why don't we start off with that?
Yeah, this is kind of par of the course for Mazda. When you get into a Mazda, you kind of expect an upscale experience, and this doesn't disappoint. Everything that you're going to touch around this cabin is soft touch. You have really nice optional red leather seats, and it's a nice place to be.
I agree. It's definitely a lot nicer than what I have to work with here in the Seltos. This is much more noticeably like an economy car. They have scratchy plastics in a lot of spots, which is not really that nice. The touch points themselves are still comfy and kind of a leatherish leather end. I do also have piano black, so there you go. Multiple spots that are already scratched. But seating wise, I love these seats. I think they're very comfy, heated and ventilated though. How about yours?
Yeah, I kind of wish we had ventilated seats. That's kind of a miss for me. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, it's pretty standard these days, I find.
But I'm seeing something over there that I'm kind of envious of. That's a monolithic infotainment screen.
Yes, so the wonderful Kia gauge cluster setup. So first of all, we have our digital gauge cluster up front with all the different modes. And then we have our wonderful infotainment that we know from Kia. Very responsive, looks great. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay only wired. Unfortunately, no wireless, but it's very easy to reach.
This is not. I mean, first of all, this screen for me is a little bit small for 2024.
And this is the updated new one, 10.25 inches, I think.
It's not that big, and it's set so far back that I've got to lean forward to use it. Now, of course, they're trying to encourage me to use this knob, which I personally don't like. I find it more dangerous than touching the screen.
I don't hate it, to be fair, but yeah, continue.
Because you got to look at the screen, then you got to look at the knob, see what the input you're getting from the knob is, and then you got to press. I just find it a little bit unintuitive.
Right.
And just the placement of it. If I want to touch anything along the bottom of the screen, I got to like curve my hand under.
Yeah, it's like inside the dashboard. It is
It
really
doesn't make
awkward.
sense.
I don't mind the dial for like the usual for the Mazda infotainment, but once you use Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, that's when using the dial just becomes really awkward. You can set it up so that you can touch it while driving, which the regular screen does not. But then you still have to like touch so far and down. It's like I much prefer this interior.
And to be fair, most people are going to be using Android Auto or CarPlay most of the time, right?
Yes, like it's just, you have your maps in there, you have everything, like it's just way better. But yeah, in general, I like a lot of the things I see in here, and from a usability standpoint, like I got a wireless charger. I know you have one too, but mine is pretty well placed. Yours is not quite.
So yeah, I have a wireless charger here, but it's placed directly behind the cup holder. So if you have 2 large coffees in there, which I did on the way back from my trip, it's extremely hard to access that. I just don't understand why it was done like that. And then moving back, we have our center console, which, I mean,
mine opens up.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they tried to fix something that wasn't broke, and they implemented this sliding center console, which, I mean, it's kind of functional, but it's just unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah, so so Jesse set up a GoPro for one of the shots and was sitting basically on the 5th seat. And I was in the front trying to open it, and I had to slam it backwards into his knee to be able to open the center console. Which is like, I mean, it's fine if there's nobody sitting in the 5th seat, but if there is someone, then it's not really ideal. I just want to circle back real quick to the wireless charger. I get how it's annoying. I do got to give him a slight bit of benefit of the doubt and say, you know what, it makes it a little harder to text and drive. But even when you're getting in and out of the car and you have cups in there, you still got to wriggle it around. But let's move on to the second row, because that's when some of the contrasts start to be a little more drastic, because the Mazda isn't really known to be very efficient with their spacing. I have plenty of space in the back row here in the Seltos. I have heated seats on both sides, which some you don't have, and the overall experience in the back is
I have to give them some credit. For kids, it's doable.
Right.
Is it comfortable? No, the seats are kind of firm and very upright.
Yes.
And legroom is kind of limited. You also don't have any connectivity back there. There's no ports.
I get 2 USB-Cs in the back. And
heated seats in the back.
And heated seats. And what I find, if I'm in that back seat, like I'm 5'7", but I barely reach the floor with my feet. Like that's how upright and how high the cushion is. And I feel like it's kind of pushing into my thighs. Like it's almost limiting the blood flow a little bit. I'm very uncomfortable in the second row. And it's a very cramped experience, I find. This feels very open air, and of course we have sunroofs in both. But I much prefer the second row experience of the Seltos.
And that trend kind of continues into the trunk space.
Yes, so with the second row up, the CX-30 gets about 30 cubic feet of space. This gets about 25. So 5 cubic feet difference, not the end of the world. But once you put down those second row seats, we get 45 cubic feet in the CX-30 and almost 64 in the Seltos. So we're talking like almost like 45% gain in terms of space. And if we're talking small SUVs,
that could be a deal breaker for some people.
That could be a deal breaker for someone. But with the interior out of the way, how about we hop into the CX-30, take it for a quick spin, and then form a conclusion after driving the Seltos.
Let's do it.
All right, out in the CX-30, I got my manual non-height adjustable seats, unlike in the Seltos. And if you might have noticed it on the B-roll, this car is so new. You still have some of the stickers off.
A little ASMR.
Okay, can I get this one off as well? Come on. Shit, there you go. ASMR, folks.
Beauty.
But let's do an acceleration test.
Let's see how this thing drives.
Sorry, my center console.
That thing's annoying. All right, we're gonna brake torque, and off we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It felt a little quicker at first, and then kind of was like, nah, no.
Yeah, that's
it's not super quick.
not very inspiring.
Yeah, so this is the base engine, the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter inline four, producing 191 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque, sent to all four wheels through a 6-speed automatic. Yeah,
Kind of gutless.
yeah, and especially once we jump in the Seltos here in a second with an engine that is very similarly powered. Give it one more. Come stand.
There's just nothing to it. It's.
Yeah.
I said this to Eric when I was on it. Took this on like a 1,000-kilometer trip.
Yeah.
Very underpowered.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good. So really, the recommendation I think from both of us is
Go for the turbo.
spend like 2.5, 3K more. Go for the turbo. Get 250 horsepower.
320 foot-pound of torque.
It's going to be way better.
Substantial improvement.
It's a substantial improvement. I still don't love the 6-speed automatic in this. The fuel economy still isn't amazing.
Yeah, I averaged about 8.6, mainly highway driving, which to me is not, considering the lack of power, I'm not very happy with that.
No, it should definitely be a little better.
With that said, the driving experience is very good in my opinion. It's very quiet on the highway.
Oh, even now it's quiet.
The suspension is very good.
Yeah. There's a lot to like.
A lot to like.
There's a lot to like. But how about we jump into the Seltos, do another launch, and start off comparing and concluding.
Let's do it.
All right, now out in the Seltos. So, same procedure, sport mode, brake torque. Yeah, there we go.
See, that's what I'm waiting for.
There's the turbo kicking in.
Yeah, that's
definitely way more usable power.
That's a W for the Kia.
Yeah, so this Kia has a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline-4, producing 195 pound-feet of torque and 195 horsepower, sent through an 8-speed automatic to all 4 wheels.
That feels like way more than 10 horsepower difference.
Yes, it's that turbo, right? Because you have to rev that CX-30 inline-4 out all the way to get the power. This one at peaks probably at like I don't even need to go full throttle and we get that turbo.
And that's what I was missing in the CX-30 the whole time I was driving it on my trip.
Yeah, it feels like you said, it feels a little
it's gutless.
And I prefer the 8-speed automatic in this, but I do have to say the pedal calibration, I absolutely hate in this. Like the throttle is very jumpy and the brakes
are horrendous.
Oh god, it's just boom. It's just like the first time you drive it, you're gonna slam the brakes so hard in this.
I just don't know what they were thinking, to be honest.
It's way too sensitive. It just all feels over boosted, and you know, and that also kind of carries over if you're driving it generally. Like the steering and like the suspension is
it's just like it's boaty,
right? It feels like we're on stilts, kind of. And I do like a slight input, and I feel the whole car just move and shake and rock. It's like we're in a boat. Yeah,
like I said, boaty. Yeah. It's
like, what is this?
Oh my god!
And it's kind of,
and then and once you stop moving, it keeps going.
Yeah, it kind of enters a little bit of a harmonic too if you start doing.
I don't know what they were really going for with that.
Yeah, this is the body control.
I'm kind of scared for the handling test, to be honest.
Well, you have a handle at least.
I'm going to use the handle.
So we're going to put it back into sport mode. There's sport mode. And we're going to see what happens.
The suspension's not going to do well.
I'm going to take it a little easy. And shoot. Actually, not that terrible. Once it hits like the end of its movement, then it's solid. And the CX-30 still drives way better.
Yeah.
Like, no comparison.
It's got a sportier suspension.
Yeah, it's got. But even on the road itself, I think the CX-30 rides better.
I noticed bumpiness on the highway in this thing, and it like reverberated through my bum. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's not the most comfortable car to drive on a daily driving situation. But should we switch seats real quick?
Yeah. So I can complain.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, right away getting into this, I feel every single bump. It's not harsh.
No.
But every single bump in the road is translated to my body.
Yeah, like I agree. I wouldn't call it like necessarily uncomfortable, but it is.
It's not.
You're not as isolated as you are in the CX-30, and you feel like this every kind of vibration, and then you have that body movement. Like suspension quality is way better.
It feels like it was tuned. It was like the tuning is off or something.
Yeah, I don't really like it, but you know what my bigger issue is? The noise.
It's like even we're going 70 right now, and it's quite noisy.
Yeah, and like it gets just worse and worse the faster you are. So once you reach like highway speeds, this is quite noisy cab, and a stark contrast to the CX-30, which is once again quieter.
Which goes to that refinement.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I'm like, let's see those brakes. I see you're like yeah. I see you're not.
That wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad, but because you were fully focused,
hyper aware of it.
You were like chesting it a bit, like. Yeah, that engine's way better.
But the engine's way better.
It's noisy, but
very noisy.
It's a subcompact economy car. I'm not going to complain too much about it. I got my heated seats. I got my electronically adjustable seats.
And this heads-up display I'm going to mention, super archaic.
Yes.
I mean, Kia, you can do better than this.
It's got that little like glass pane that comes up.
I believe in you, Kia. This is like literally a 10-year-old thing.
Yeah, the CX-30 has a proper one that just gets projected onto your windshield, so that is definitely better. But tech in general, aside from the HUD, I would give that as a win to the
Yep, and
Seltos.
I'm going to do a little lane centering here.
Yeah, because it has an active lane centering assist. It has adaptive cruise control that works really well. Because I know you used those two features in the CX-30.
So I don't
did not have a good time.
I'm almost hesitant to shit on it because I don't want to tarnish Mazda, but my experience was brutal. First of all, you have about 8 seconds. Of course, we always recommend you keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Yes.
But you have about 8 seconds between taking your hands off the wheel and the system alerting you. And even if I was driving like this, which I find perfectly fine.
Yes.
If you want to hate on me for
fine.
that, that's on you.
That's fine. Long drive.
This did not count. It said keep your hands on the wheel.
Oh, so it wants that wiggle.
It wants the wiggle, or like I found like a pressure point here,
right.
which was kind of annoying on like a 4-hour drive.
Right.
And also, I didn't find that system to be safe. It was bouncing me between lanes. I was on a 2-lane highway with an 18-wheeler, and I would be on the left lane, the 18-wheeler would be in the right lane, and this thing would just brake randomly, and it became a safety hazard for me. If there was someone behind me, I was worried they were going to be rear-end me. It did not inspire confidence.
Yeah, like Mazda's, from my own experience, I know the Mazda systems are never as good as the other ones. Starting with the CX-90, it's getting better. But you can't really beat the system that Kia and Hyundai have. It's a really good system. Honda has a good one as well. Yep. But yeah, I love this. I used it plenty of time. I was in traffic all the time this week, so I used it extensively. It starts from a stop. You don't have to like resume manually if you're in a traffic jam. Yeah. So this was really tech-wise a joy to drive, and of course we have blind spot monitoring and all that. We do not have our fancy little cameras in this one.
I will say the cameras are better in the Mazda.
Yeah, and sure. This only has a rear camera that is okay-ish. Mazda has front and rear camera.
And they're nice quality.
Much better resolution. And this one is ambient lighting.
Which the Mazda does not.
So if you're into that stuff, well, there you go. Which I think leads us slowly where we come to a conclusion. So I think, do we do the countdown, say which one we prefer, and then explain?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so the winner for each of one is 3, 2, 1, Mazda. The Chevy Trax.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I mean, to be honest, that wasn't an option I knew existed right now.
Normally it does not. But like,
I hate to say it, but yeah, you're right.
Listen, I love this. I love this CX-30 from the driving experience, and it's a great interior.
The way it looks.
It looks fantastic. But if we're talking subcompact SUVs, to give me like 50% less space than another subcompact, like we got to be practical at some point. So I can see that really as a car for 2 people, not really a family. The Seltos is nice. I like it. It's space-wise and tech-wise, it's good, but it lacks the refinement that the CX-30, and quite frankly, the Trax is way more refined than this. The interior is just as nice. The tech is like 90% as good. It is quieter. It rides better. Fuel economy is amazing in that one. It looks great, and it's $8,000 less than either of these.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, it's hard to kind of disagree with you here.
Right?
What would you rank the Kia last out of the 3? Right?
Yes.
I would too. I would.
Honestly,
personally, I would.
I think, I don't know. For me, both lost this.
TRX.
Nice. Stay subscribed for the, what was it, RHO review next year?
Relatively high output.
Relatively high output. Yeah, so for me, both of these cars lost the comparison. I don't think neither one.
They both have so many shortcomings.
Yes, both of them, they have good things about them, but now, the industry changes, and with the Trax now on the market, yes, you can get these in lower trim levels and get them for $32,000 as well, but then on this one, you lose these have all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Trax doesn't, but for $8K, you can get some really good winter tires.
Yeah, it's true.
So, if you spec this down to the Trax level, it's still not going to be as refined. You just have going to be front-wheel drive as well. And the interior is going to be not any better, and the tech's not going to be any better than the Trax. And it's also going to have not the same room. Although the second row in the Trax is ridiculously good.
Amazing. And
if we start comparing CX-30 to Trax in terms of space,
it's comparison.
We don't even need to compare that.
Part of me doesn't really understand this segment at all.
Yes.
At all. I just don't know why it exists, to be honest with you.
I agree with you, and that's always my complaint about subcompact SUVs. For the same price, we can get a mid-trim level Sportage or CX-5.
CX-5 for me.
Why would I not upgrade it? They're going to be pretty much as nice. We might lack a little bit of tech here and there. We might not get the ventilated seats.
Not really losing gas mileage.
You're not losing gas mileage. We have way more space. why would you not go for it? And that's where the Trax is literally the first subcompact SUV where I'm like, this actually makes sense.
And it's a Chevy of all brands.
Like, I don't know how they did it. I
No.
don't know how they did it.
And to throw a wrench into it and
For even further.
yeah, even further, and to give you an example why I don't understand why this segment even exists, the Mazda 3 Sport, the hatch, has more trunk space.
Yeah, it's very slightly, but it has more trunk space. It drives just a little better than the CX-30. It's just as nice. It's gonna come in a little cheaper.
It doesn't really make sense.
Like, just and like, these are neither of these are really SUVs.
No.
They're hatchbacks that are 2 inches higher. That's it. Like, come on.
Mazda 3 Sport or CX-5, they both make more sense than either of these vehicles.
Yes. Get a CX-5 for this money or get a Trax. That's my verdict.
It kind of sucks that we have a comparison. We don't pick either of the cars.
Sorry guys, but Chevy just pulled
They pulled it out of the hat there.
Yeah, and I don't know how they did it, but well, there you go. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching.
If you guys like this video, like, subscribe, because we're dropping a new video every single week. And speaking of the Trax, we just reviewed that. We'll be dropping that soon, so tune in to watch that one.
Yes, we'll see you then. Bye.